If you've ever asked yourself, why am I still doing this? Trust me, you're not alone. But today, I'm giving you 5 essential reasons to keep making music, no matter where you are in your journey.
VVS look like the star. I took the top out of the car. You don't abide by the law. You don't know what I saw. Can't live without it. I keep a stick for the wall. Checks out deposit. Money just stick with the boy.
Lot of model bitches check for me. Nigga don't check for me unless you got checks for me. I kept a stick like a hobo, no checking me. Way back when D-Lo had the spot in Church Street.
What's going on, guys? So today I'm going to be doing something a little different. I'm going to be giving you 5 reasons why you should continue to make music. Because let's be real, music can be lonely or feel lonely sometimes. And you can pour your heart into a track or a song or even a beat and it gets 23 plays. And one of those plays are from your mom. So, you know, it can feel really isolating. But trust me, there's solid reasons to keep going. And I'm going to be breaking down 5 of those for you today. Because just like you, I've been through it where one day I can make beats and I'm feeling like I'm Scott Storch or Timbaland or London on the track. And then the next day I'm like, I ain't shit. So you have to dig deep when times get like that and just figure out, you know, where you stand, what you want, and what inspires you. Like I've been screaming like multiple times before on the channel that for me, it's getting out and exploring, going new places, just be changing environment, things like that. But I'm going to give you 5 solid reasons why you should keep doing music. Alright, so rule number 1. Honestly, it's a simple one. Music is therapy. You know, it's very personal to you and you can pour your heart into something or like just make a beat that just resonates with your soul depending on the frequencies and you share it with someone and they can relate to it. You know, I'm definitely serious. Music is therapy. Like if you even go to meditation music on YouTube, a lot of those frequencies are set in a specific range. For an example, for me, when I'm meditating, I like to listen to 528 hertz or 432 hertz, just because those are like soul cleansing and each frequency has a meaning. So music is therapy and you need to share your gift with the world. Alright guys, so number 2, you never know who's listening. For me, I've had multiple people reach out that I thought one day I hope to work with, and they've just reached out either via word of mouth or just seeing certain posts on Instagram. And I'm not talking about page posts because I don't post much on my feed, but these were for the story. So I'm not sure if they had been sent a story or whatever have you, but needless to say, you never know who's listening. Don't sleep on your ideas. You know, you never know who your next collaborator could be. Send out that loop, you know, reach out to that person, send direct messages, but in a tasteful way. There's always a way to do things. You know, post 40-second clips on TikTok, whether it's samples or have someone like collaborate with your sample. I've done that a few times as well, where people that I have connected with in the studio, they then drop like either make a beat to this sample or make a beat around these vocals, and I've done that. And I haven't even been aware that it's been part of a competition, but I just wanted to collaborate with them. So when I see them drop things like that, I reach out to them, I get the track or the MP3, and then I either add drums to it or restructure it and just flip it how I would like it to sound or whatever have you. And then they get it back and they're like, wow, like I really love this, I'm gonna release this. And that's happened twice. So you never know who's listening. Always put out professional work, but stay consistent with posting on all different platforms. And yeah, just keep pushing. Alright, number 3. When I wrote this, I was like, this is so true, but growth happens quietly and sometimes it can happen overnight. I remember reading this meme once. I wouldn't even say a meme, but it was a post on Instagram that said, "You never heard a tree grow." And that is so true. What you plant today, it may not fruit tomorrow, but it's eventually going to grow. It's going to blossom depending on how you feed it, depending on what you're putting into it. But it definitely can happen overnight, and it definitely happens quietly. You know, sometimes for me in the past, I've had people say you don't share much of what you're doing. But in the music industry, you can think you're going to get a placement tomorrow because you've had an opportunity to collab with a major artist, or you know, you've worked with this sync company and they've repped your song, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's coming out. So patience is a virtue, and keeping quiet about opportunities is a good thing, because privacy is protection as far as I'm concerned, and you don't want to have to be like, oh yeah, I've worked on this project and then nothing comes out. So I think working below the scene, but also putting out what you're doing in a tasteful way, or in a kind of, this is what I'm doing, but this is not everything I'm doing kind of way, is going to help you in the long run. You won't always notice how far you've come until you look back and like laugh and see like, wow, like I used to pray for things like this and now they're here. So for example, me, I'm a firm believer in writing down goals and things like that each year or each quarter. And sometimes I've gone back via like old archives or like old notebooks that I had, and I've like can tick off everything that I've managed to achieve now. And it's so like, it's such a great feeling, because you forget about all the things that you at one point wanted, and then you go back and you see, oh like shit, like I've achieved that, so what's next? Another point that I'll add to growth happening quietly is also in terms of how you have grown as a producer or as a songwriter as well. So for me, when I listen to beats that I made in 2019 or 2018, I'm like, shit, at that time I thought it was really good. But now, because I've grown, I'm like, I would change so much about it. So yeah, stick at it and keep working through it. Alright guys, number 4. So music creates connection. There's been so many times where I've been nervous to go into a studio and I meet people and I'm like, wow, we really connect on a like, I wouldn't even say spiritual level, but on a creative level where it's like, where have you been most of my life? Because things just flow. So next time you have a chance to be a part of a community within music, or you know, go to an event, always try and go if you can afford it and if you're in the same city, because the connections you build, sometimes they're like soul ties, and like they become a forever collaborator depending on what you're working with. I've made songs with people I haven't even met in person, and songs I didn't meet and songs with people I didn't meet, but then I got to meet like a few years later. So it's crazy. And that's what I'll go back to the thing I said before, where you never know who's listening, because I've had people reach out to me just because they've heard my music or word of mouth with someone else that I've worked with. So it definitely creates connections, it creates bonds, and the person you're working with today could be a CEO of a label tomorrow that's like managing loads of artists, or a sync supervisor or a sync agent, you know. So cultivate those relationships and build on those connections. Alright guys, last but not least, number 5, your music matters. Again, it will go back to what I mentioned before. You never know who's listening. You never know who you're going to impact. You never know who's been inspired by your songwriting. I've had people reach out to me in the past and say, have you heard this song, blah, blah, blah. It reminds me of this back in the day, which was something we may have done or an experience I may have shared with someone else. But you can never, ever, ever underestimate how powerful your sound can be. So even you as a producer having a sound, whether you are great at R&B, trap or whatever, your sound is your sound, and you never know how that is going to impact the next person. Whether it's a label trying to sign you, it's an artist trying to work with you, your sound is your sound. You never know how it's going to impact anyone. And that's what I think is like one of the most important things. Is just knowing that your music matters, and taking time to grow as an individual in your lane is one of the best things you can do. And then just put it out into the world and just let everybody experience that. I mean, music is subjective, so it's not going to be for everyone, but all you need is a few people to just resonate with it, and then everything else will grow.
Lot of model bitches check for me, nigga don't check for me unless you got checks for me. I kept a slit like a hobo, no checking me. Way back when D-Lo had the spot in Church Street, so many hoes had.
Alright guys, well that's gonna be it from me. I mean, look, it's an easy question in this music game, but if you're watching this and you already know that some of these points may resonate with you, or you've had a hard time with beat block recently, keep showing up, keep making noise, keep writing. I'm telling you, one day you're gonna write something and you're gonna be like, this business or environment is meant for you, and you're gonna keep at it. We've all had those moments in life where it's like, I'm not creating the best music at the moment, or I'm going through this particular issue in my life, but just take time to just sit, reset, and then share your gift with the world. For those of you who's been watching, even if no one claps yet, keep making music, man, you got this. But drop a comment below and let me know your reason to keep going. Or tag a producer or an artist and remind them, you just need these 5 things to keep going, or even one of them, just one reason to keep going and never give up. I've had friends that just like are going through so much in life and they just want to pivot and forget music, and I'm like, yo, you can't do that. You cannot do that. The world needs to hear your story. And that's how I feel, not just as a friend, but as a listener, listening to their music. And hey, if you're a brand that likes supporting creators, reach out. There's loads of tech that I have here. I use loads of plugins and loads of software, so let's reach out and I'll be happy to support you. See you next time.
One of my arms worth a ticket. Bought so much that a car came with it. Back in the day, I used to rob with no mask on. Shit on my wrist, I would've killed the whole house full. And I went to school high, I ain't